When facing a crisis, preparation can make all the difference, especially when it comes to long-term bugging in. Whether it's a natural disaster, economic turmoil, or other emergencies, knowing how to sustain yourself and your family within your home is crucial. This video will guide you through the essentials of long-term bug-in preparation. We'll cover key topics like building a reliable food and water supply, ensuring proper home security, maintaining hygiene, and addressing medical needs. You'll also learn how to create a sustainable plan that works for your unique circumstances. Preparing effectively not only reduces stress during challenging times, but also increases your chances of thriving instead of just surviving. No matter your level of experience, this guide is packed with practical tips and strategies to help you stay safe and organized. Stay tuned as we help you take the first steps toward peace of mind and long-term readiness. 1. Understanding the reality of long-term bugging in. Bugging in during a crisis is not just about staying put and hoping for the best. It's a grueling, relentless process that will test every aspect of your resilience and preparation. To succeed, you must first understand that your home is now your everything. Your bunker, your fortress, your storage facility, and perhaps your only safe space. If you haven't planned thoroughly, you will quickly realize how unprepared you are. Start by facing the harsh truth about waste management. If public utilities go down, you'll lose trash pickup, sewage disposal, and clean running water. What's your plan? Leaving trash to rot or human waste unmanaged in your living space is a fast track to disease. You'll need durable systems in place, like portable toilets, composting materials, or sanitation kits. Know how to handle and dispose of waste, because it won't manage itself. Water is another critical issue. You can't survive without it, and you'll need gallons of it stored or reliably sourced. Tap water might become unsafe or stop running altogether. Water filtration systems, rain collection setups, or even purification tablets become life-saving necessities. Do the math, a gallon per person per day adds up fast. Energy is a luxury you probably take for granted, but in a long-term bug-in scenario, you can't afford such complacency. Expect power outages and prepare for them. If you're lucky enough to have solar panels, battery backups, or a generator plus spare fuel, great. Otherwise, candles, battery-powered lights, crank radios, and manual tools should be on hand. Think ahead. Your devices won't charge themselves, and there will be no quick fixes. Food is another immediate focus. Do you have enough, and will it last? Shelf-stable pantry items, freeze-dried meals, and long-term food supplies are key. You're not going to have fresh groceries or restaurants at your convenience. You'll need to ration carefully, rotate your stocks, and have the skills to prepare meals with minimal resources. Gardening, canning, or dehydrating food beforehand becomes invaluable for extending your stores. Security can't be overlooked either. Desperation will drive people to do unimaginable things. You can't assume you'll be left alone. Reinforce entry points, stay alert, and, if necessary, have means to defend yourself and your home. A false sense of security will be more dangerous than no security plan at all. Finally, there's the matter of mental health. Isolation, fear, stress, and boredom will wear you down quickly. If you're not mentally prepared to handle long-term confinement, you risk making impulsive decisions or succumbing to despair. Create routines. Stay productive. Keep your mind occupied with projects, puzzles, or learning new skills. Don't underestimate how crippling cabin fever can become. Bugging in isn't about comfort, it's about survival. To make it through a crisis while confined to your home, you need to address every challenge head-on and prepare relentlessly. Assume that everything you rely on will fail, and plan accordingly. Forward-thinking preparation is what separates success from catastrophe. Ignore these realities and bugging in won't be a choice. It'll be a death sentence. 2. Waste management. When bugging in for the long haul, waste management isn't just important, it's absolutely critical. If you don't plan ahead, poor waste disposal can quickly spiral into a health disaster. You'll need a system to manage both human and household waste effectively, especially if basic utilities like running water or trash collection are out of service. Start with human waste. If the toilet is still functioning, but water shortages prevent flushing, you can manually add water to the tank to force a flush. However, this technique uses up valuable water reserves and isn't sustainable in the long term. Instead, create an alternative toilet setup. A lugable loo or portable camping toilet is a practical solution. Use heavy-duty trash bags to line the bucket and add sawdust, cat litter, or another absorbent material after each use to control odors and reduce moisture. When the bag is full, seal it completely and dispose of it away from your living area. For those with access to outdoor space, a trench latrine can work. Dig a trench far from your home and water supply, covering waste with soil after each use to reduce smell and the risk of contamination. Next, household trash. Without regular pickups, accumulating waste will attract pests like rats, cockroaches, and flies. Designate a specific contained area for storing trash. Use thick garbage bags and keep your waste sealed and away from your living space. If you have a yard, consider digging a burn pit to dispose of non-toxic, flammable materials like paper and cardboard. However, avoid burning plastics or other harmful chemicals that release toxic fumes. For biodegradable scraps, you could create a compost pile, but only if managed properly to avoid pest infestations. Don't overlook feminine hygiene product and diaper disposal. These should also be sealed in plastic bags before being added to your waste pile. Pet waste requires attention as well. Train your pets to go in a specific area outside or develop a system using litter boxes or designated pads. Lastly, sanitation. Poor hygiene around waste equals disease. Stock up on bleach, gloves, soap, and disposable wipes. Anything that's come into contact with waste must be disinfected immediately. Wash your hands obsessively, especially before eating or handling food. Sanitize surfaces often. If possible, set up separate cleaning zones for items exposed to waste to minimize cross-contamination. Failure to handle waste properly can lead to outbreaks of diseases like cholera, dysentery, and other infections that can threaten everyone in your household. When you're bugging in, managing waste isn't just about comfort, it's about survival. Take it seriously, plan ahead, and execute your system with discipline. 3. Water storage, filtration, and reuse. When preparing for long-term bugging in during a crisis, water is the most critical resource. You can survive longer without food than without water, so getting this right is not optional. Water storage, filtration, and reuse need to be planned out in advance with no room for guesswork. Storage? You need a minimum of 1 gallon of water per person per day. Double that if you live in an area with a hot climate or plan to cook more food that requires water. For storage, you should use a mix of large barrels for bulk water and smaller portable jugs for ease of transport in emergencies. Food-grade, BPA-free barrels are non-negotiable for safe long-term storage. Keep the barrels in a cool, dark place away from direct sunlight to prevent algae growth and breakdown of plastics. Don't forget lids that seal tightly. Exposure to air will contaminate your supply. Smaller jugs are just as important. They're easier to carry if you need to leave your home in a hurry or shift supplies from room to room. Rotate the water in these containers every 6-12 months to avoid stagnation and keep it drinkable. For additional longevity, consider treating stored water with preservatives like sodium hypochlorite, unscented liquid bleach. Stick to the recommended ratios so you don't end up poisoning yourself. Filtration and replenishment. Even with a reliable stash of water, assume you'll need to resupply and purify additional water at some point. Get water filtration gear in place now before you need it. Water purification tablets are cheap, portable, and highly effective at killing pathogens, but they should be a backup. Invest in a durable gravity filter for the heavy lifting. These systems use advanced filters to remove bacteria, protozoa, and even some chemical contaminants. Don't cut corners on this. It'll save you from nasty illnesses after drinking contaminated water. Rainwater harvesting is another option if it's legal where you live. Install a rain catchment system that connects to clean barrels or cisterns. Always filter and purify harvested rainwater before drinking it. Even if it looks clean, bird droppings and other contaminants can make it unsafe. Reuse gray water systems. Stop thinking of water as purely disposable. Gray water, the leftover water from dishwashing, hand washing, or bathing, shouldn't go to waste. Treat it as a secondary resource for non-potable uses. For instance, you can use gray water for flushing toilets, washing floors, or watering plants. If you're reusing water for plants, make sure it hasn't been contaminated with toxic chemicals or salt-heavy detergents. Another hack is reusing cooking water. Water from boiling pasta or vegetables can clean greasy pots and pans before discarding it entirely. Get creative, but stay mindful of hygiene. Gray water should never come into contact with your clean water supply. Cross-contamination will only create more problems. By focusing on water storage, filtration, and reuse, you significantly increase your odds of survival during a long-term crisis. Secure it, filter it, reuse it. This is not up for debate. 4. Communication and intel gathering. When bugging in during a long-term crisis, communication and gathering intelligence are critical for survival, security, and decision-making. Without reliable communication channels or accurate information on what's happening beyond your home, you'll be operating blind, and that's dangerous. This isn't the time to gamble. You need to be proactive in setting up systems to stay informed and secure. Reliable devices are non-negotiable. Expect the internet and standard communication systems to fail during a crisis. When the grid goes down, your smartphone instantly loses most of its usefulness. Equip yourself with alternatives well before disaster strikes. Ham radios are a great option for long-distance communication, but they require proper training and licensing to broadcast legally, so learn how to use them now. Additionally, invest in an emergency weather radio or a hand crank radio equipped with the NOAA weather alert system. This will provide updates on extreme weather, government alerts, or disaster recovery efforts. Emergency scanners, such as police or fire scanners, are invaluable for real-time local intel. They allow you to monitor activity in your area, such as police movements, danger zones, or civil unrest. Not everything you hear on a scanner will be tailored to your needs, so you'll need to filter information to determine what's relevant. Community networking. Communication cannot be a one-person effort. If you're part of a neighborhood or group of trusted individuals, establish a secure system for exchanging updates. This could involve note drops, coded messages, or even low-tech systems like whistles or pre-arranged hand signals for warnings or checkpoints. However, discretion is key. Advertising your communication methods in a time of scarcity will paint a target on your back for looters or opportunists. Maintain a low profile and only involve people you fully trust. Protect and validate your intel. Blindly trusting every piece of information you receive is a mistake. Misinformation spreads quickly during a crisis, especially when panic takes over. Always double-check your sources. For example, if you receive rumors about evacuations or resources, use your radios or networks to confirm the details. Knowing fact from fiction will save lives. The bigger picture. Beyond immediate survival, keeping tabs on the broader situation is vital to long-term bugging in. Local news is important, but you also need to understand any national or global implications of the emergency. Certain crises, such as pandemics, wars, or economic collapse, unfold over time, and an informed survivor is an adaptable survivor. Intel helps you decide when to maintain your position and when it's time to leave. Being isolated from information is a surefire way to make poor decisions. Set up your systems, train with your tools, and always stay connected in any way you can. Communication and intel gathering aren't conveniences, they're lifelines. Treat them like it. 5. Energy and light. When preparing for long-term bugging in during a crisis, energy and light are critical considerations. Without proper planning, you risk sitting in darkness, wasting valuable resources, and losing critical power that could be used for vital tasks. Here's how to handle energy and light efficiently during a prolonged emergency. Lighting basics. Ensure you have reliable lighting options. Stock up on LED lanterns, flashlights, and candles. LEDs consume significantly less power, last longer, and provide ample brightness. They should be your primary choice for emergency lighting. However, candles can serve as a backup option. Just make sure you're vigilant about fire safety, as accidental fires could compound your problems quickly. Power sources. Your power may be cut off during a crisis, so anticipate this from the outset. Invest in solar chargers for small electronics such as phones, radios, or rechargeable batteries. Place them in areas with good sunlight exposure every day to keep them charged. Hand crank radios are another essential. They need no batteries or electricity, delivering both power and access to critical communication channels. For larger energy needs, consider a backup generator, but keep in mind fuel limitations and storage constraints. Temperature considerations. Energy isn't just for devices, it's also for managing comfort. Use thermal mass heating methods. Employ heavy materials like bricks, concrete, or tiles in sunlit areas to absorb and release heat during the day. This reduces reliance on powered heaters during cold periods. For cooling during warmer months, passive methods work best. Block sunlight with heavy curtains. Create cross-ventilation by cracking multiple windows strategically. And insulate rooms with foam sheets if necessary. These methods require zero external energy and can significantly stabilize indoor temperatures. Energy conservation matters. Conservation is non-negotiable. Every watt of energy you save could add hours or days to your survival strategy. Turn off any devices when not in use. Unplug chargers, lights, or other equipment to avoid wasting power on standby modes. Set rigid rules about when lights should be used and stick to them. If possible, group necessary activities, like meal preparation or reading, into periods with natural daylight, reducing the burden on your lighting resources at night. Avoid overdependence. Don't grow overly reliant on high-tech or electrical devices. Batteries will deplete, and clouds can interfere with solar generation. Keep manual tools and non-electrical alternatives available where possible. For instance, keep printed maps instead of relying on GPS. Stock up on wind-up flashlights, and use physical books or guides instead of relying on electronic devices to store critical info. Preparedness doesn't require a luxurious setup. Minimal energy use paired with smart resource management will go a long way in ensuring you remain functional for the long haul. Think ahead. Use only what's absolutely necessary, and always have multiple backup plans for energy and lighting. Emergencies don't follow a plan. Neither should your reliance on any single power source. 6. Food storage and preparation. When planning for long-term bugging in during a crisis, proper food storage and preparation are non-negotiable. Without these, your food supply becomes useless, and survival becomes unnecessarily harder. Here's what you absolutely need to keep in mind. Storage location. Pick a storage spot that is cool, dry, and away from sunlight. Heat and moisture cause food to spoil faster, cutting into your supply when you least can afford it. Basements, storage closets, or other dark, stable temperature spaces work best. Avoid areas prone to flooding, pests, or temperature swings like garages or attics. If you do it wrong, expect spoiled food and wasted resources. Food varieties matter. Storing endless cans of the same thing might seem like a shortcut, but it's a mistake. Your body needs a variety of nutrients, so stock up on more than just rice and beans. Include canned fruits, vegetables, protein sources, and grains. Freeze-dried meals and high-calorie emergency food bars are excellent for emergencies as well. Incorporate cooking staples like oil, sugar, flour, and salt to maintain flexibility in meal preparation. Don't forget spices. They boost morale and make boring meals tolerable. Think ahead. Don't just survive. Structure your food storage so you can endure long-term without losing your sanity. Quantities to store. Short-term crises require at least a 3-day supply of food. For serious long-term planning, aim for 3 months to a year of food storage. Break it down into easily manageable quantities that are rotated regularly. If you think storing less will work, think again. A few extra trips to the store during normal times mean the difference between survival and starvation when chaos sets in. Rotation saves supplies. Food isn't immortal. Even canned goods and freeze-dried products have shelf lives. Follow the first-in, first-out method. Use the oldest items first, then immediately replace them with newer purchases. This method ensures you always have fresh stock and reduces the chances of wasting food. Label dates and keep inventory organized. Guesswork leads to mistakes, and in a crisis, mistakes cost lives. Cooking without power. Assume the power will go out. That's why it's critical to learn alternative cooking methods. Invest in tools like rocket stoves, propane burners, solar ovens, or wood stoves. Know how to use them before a crisis begins. Stock up on fuel. Firewood, propane, or even charcoal work depending on your chosen setup. Also, keep multiple options available. A single broken stove with no backup spells disaster. Learn to prepare meals that don't require refrigeration or excessive water. Practice now so you're not scrambling in the dark later. Water for cooking. Always have enough water stored for cooking and rehydration. Freeze-dried foods, for example, require hot water for proper preparation. Without clean water, your food supply may become unusable. A gallon of water per person per day is a good starting point. Make sure water purification tools are on hand. Boiling isn't always feasible, and no one survives on contaminated water. Keep it discreet. A stocked pantry is a major asset during a crisis, but it can make you a target. Avoid broadcasting what you have. Slip-ups can cause neighbors or looters to raid your supplies. Store food securely and out of sight. Don't post your preps on social media, and be cautious about whom you trust. Blend in. If everyone else is eating scraps, you don't want savory smells from your meal attracting attention. Protect your resources at all costs. 7. Security and defense. When preparing for long-term bugging in during a crisis, security and defense become non-negotiable priorities. Your home is your stronghold, and failing to secure it properly can result in significant risks to your safety and supplies. Do not underestimate how desperate people can get during a prolonged crisis. You must assume that your property could become a target and plan accordingly. Fortify your perimeter. The first line of defense is your home's exterior. Install solar-powered or battery-operated alarms, motion sensors, and security cameras to maintain surveillance even if the power grid fails. Place these strategically to cover all entry points and blind spots. Bright lighting can act as a deterrent to would-be intruders. Consider installing motion-activated floodlights that work off batteries or a solar setup. Reinforce the physical barriers of your home. Doors, windows, and any accessible weak points should be strengthened with security bars, shatter-resistant films, or additional locks. If your property allows for it, you can install fencing, thorny bushes, or other obstacles to make approaching your house more difficult. It's all about creating layers of deterrence. Community watch is key. Individual preparedness is important, but a strong community network exponentially increases your chances of survival. Build a trusted network of neighbors or nearby allies who can provide mutual support. Share information discreetly and never reveal the full extent of your supplies or security measures. A community watch system can help identify threats early, divide responsibilities, and protect a larger area collectively. However, always exercise caution when forming alliances. Trust must be earned, not given outright. Layered defense strategy. If your perimeter is breached, you'll need additional layers of security inside. Reinforce interior doors and set up fallback rooms where you can retreat in an emergency. These safe zones should have essential supplies, communication devices, and additional weapons for defense. Establish clearly defined escape routes in case staying inside becomes untenable. Having multiple exit strategies is vital. Assume that no single plan will work perfectly under pressure. Use simple booby traps or noise-making devices in entryways to alert you of invaders. Quietly monitoring and defending the interior of your home is just as important as fortifying the exterior. Self-defense readiness. If it comes down to it, defending yourself and your loved ones may require direct action. You need to be physically and mentally prepared for such scenarios. This means acquiring the necessary tools and training, be it firearms, knives, or non-lethal options such as pepper spray. Learn how to use each weapon safely and effectively. Regular practice is essential for proficiency, especially under stress. Additionally, training in basic hand-to-hand combat or martial arts can be valuable when other options aren't available. Defense isn't just about having the tools, but also ensuring you have the readiness and situational awareness to use them effectively. No room for complacency. The reality of a prolonged crisis is harsh. Failures in security can result in theft, destruction, or even harm to your family. Being overly reliant on luck or assuming that things will work themselves out is a mistake that can cost you everything. Your preparation should account for the worst-case scenario. Even if you never have to defend your home, having robust security and defense measures in place will provide peace of mind and greatly increase your chances of survival. Take security seriously, remain vigilant, and never leave anything to chance. 8. Mental health and routine. When bugging in for the long term, mental health and routine become critical to survival. Isolation, uncertainty, and monotony can erode morale and lead to breakdowns if left unchecked. This isn't something to take lightly. Your mental state directly impacts your ability to make rational decisions, maintain relationships with others in your household, and ultimately endure the crisis. Establishing structure and stability is the foundation of preserving your mental health. A solid daily routine is non-negotiable. Without one, days will blur together, creating confusion and amplifying feelings of hopelessness. Wake up and go to bed at consistent times. Split the day into manageable chunks and assign specific activities to each period. This doesn't have to be rigid, but it does need to give a sense of purpose. Divide time among chores, fitness, meal preparation, education, and relaxation. A stagnant body fuels a stagnant mind, so keep busy. Even the smallest tasks, like organizing supplies or cleaning a corner of your space, help maintain focus and purpose. Encourage everyone in the household to contribute to the routine. Shared responsibilities build teamwork and foster mutual respect, reducing the chance of interpersonal conflicts. At the same time, make space for personal time. Constant interaction will lead to tension. Respect boundaries if someone needs a moment to step back. It's better to address feelings of anxiety or frustration early than to allow them to escalate into a full-blown meltdown. Another critical element is morale. Don't underestimate the importance of entertainment and relaxation. Include time for hobbies, games, books, or even journaling in your schedule. Creative outlets can reduce stress and provide a much-needed distraction from an uncertain future. Diversify the materials you rely on for entertainment. Reading the same book or replaying the same game will get old fast. Faith-based practices, if applicable, can also bring comfort and offer an emotional anchor during times of crisis. Be proactive in managing negative emotions like fear, anger, and frustration. These feelings are natural, but can become overwhelming if left unchecked. Practice deep breathing, meditation, or other calming techniques if tensions run high. Talk openly about fears and challenges with others where appropriate. If maintaining group cohesion is a priority, suppressing emotions entirely will do more harm than good in the long run. Set goals, even small ones, daily. Accomplishments, no matter how minor, boost confidence and reinforce a sense of progress. Use failures as learning experiences rather than letting them define you. Mental resilience comes from consistently moving forward, despite setbacks. Celebrate victories, like finishing a task or solving a problem, as reminders of capability. Finally, take care of yourself physically to support your mental health. Poor nutrition, lack of exercise, or sleep deprivation all contribute to irritability and exhaustion. Stick to regular meals, even if food options are limited, and maintain physical activity to release pent-up energy. Sleep schedules should be prioritized to recharge your body and mind. Preparing for long-term bugging in during a crisis requires careful planning, adaptability, and mindfulness of both physical and mental well-being. By ensuring you have the necessary supplies, creating a sustainable living environment, and prioritizing your health, you can enhance your ability to endure challenging circumstances. Remember, resilience is built over time through preparation, self-care, and a proactive mindset. While the road may not be easy, taking these steps can provide you with the stability and confidence needed to face any prolonged crisis.